Aboard the Starship UK, all is not well, as various people have gone missing, including children. This, of course, comes to the attention of the Doctor, who, along with his new companion Amy Pond, split off to investigate the goings-on. Each discover their own various clues which bring them deeper down to find out what really is below. Now, let's get to this thing, which broadcast on the 10th of April 2010 and was the second story of Series 5.
I am Nick.
I am Conrad.
And we are the Eyes of Harmony, and we are going to discuss The Beast Below, written by Stephen Moffat. Ooh, so Conrad, do you want to start us off on this,
Oh boy.
this story?
Yeah, well, I guess we can get the good points out of the way first, because, you know...
So few of them.
Well, yeah, but, I mean, as in, the first bit of the story is actually very well done, actually, I will say.
It does, yeah, it gets that nice tension to it, the kind of build-up, the kind of reveal.
You see this kind of cool-looking ship, and it's like, ooh, I wonder what's on that. And then you go inside, and it's like, a kid did badly at school. But, you know...
See, I have a question. How do the Smilers teach? Like, what... Is there no teacher? Because that would be the most boring lesson in I think, ever, really. Just this thing talking to you. Timmy, you're a bad boy. It's always a bit odd.
Now, we will go on to difficult subtractions. Does anybody know about difficult subtractions?
It would just be, I just don't get why they've not got teachers, because, I mean, there mustn't be that much to do on the spaceship, so why have Smilers teach, you know?
True.
But
people, I guess, are just too lazy. It's kind of like a Wall-E reality, you know, where they're just all too lazy to do anything.
But, yeah, so, I mean, that's kind of... It's an okay opening title sequence. I mean, it's got a good, like, the lift opens up and it's about, you know.
It hooks you in immediately.
So, yeah, it's a good opening. And then I like the bit where Amy is kind of floating out the TARDIS. That's really nicely filmed, and that's really kind of beautifully done. And I like that. And then the episode actually starts. My God, isn't the Doctor a bit creepy following that child about? I mean, the lines where it's like, oh, this dropped out of her pocket. It took me 4 tries. Like, 4? You bumped into her 4 times? It's a bit... I just found that a bit kind of unsettling that he was, you know, I understand he's trying to help, but, you know, he's supposed to be, you know, innocent, but it was just a bit like, okay,
Doctor.
Are you on a watch list?
Yeah. It's kind of weird in itself, because, like, you know, the kid says, like, as Amy wanders through, oh, you've been following me, haven't you? It's like, why didn't you mention that earlier? Why didn't you mention that earlier? Why would you just sit there looking upset?
Yeah, no, but it's like, why was she waiting for them to follow her? She was actually eventually going to talk to them, you know? It was kind of, it didn't make sense. If she was going to eventually talk to them and go, stop following me, then she would have done it already.
Yeah.
Kind
of thing. It was weird.
Now, one big thing is the set. The set design's very bland, really, for a spaceship. I think they could have gone a bit.
It's like a less good Satellite vibe.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, Satellite 5 at least had that nice marble touch to it. This is literally like, hey, guys, we need a factory to film in. Now, plot hole in the set design. Here we go, the master card. Okay, so, as we know, Scotland went off by itself, didn't it? Why do they have the British flag with Scotland's colours on it?
Yeah, that's
It makes
true.
no sense if it's just England there. Because we don't really see Wales either. We only see the main kind of Yorkshire, Surrey.
True.
It's like, it should literally just be the English flag.
Well, what I got from that was the fact that, because they do talk about Scotland a bit later, and what I kind of got from that was the fact that while they're still technically part of the UK, they decided to take their own ship.
Yeah, but I mean, like, you wouldn't... That's kind of... It's basically like the, you know, Scotland voting to leave. That's what it was.
Yeah,
and, like,
it was implied.
Shouldn't he be like... Because everybody was like, oh no, the flag's going to have to change. So obviously if Scotland went off, why would we be like, yeah, Scotland's still part of us, you know?
Kind of but the other thing I noticed about that in general, about the whole Scotland thing, is how on earth would the little kid know what a Scottish accent was? Because if they left so long ago...
Yeah, that's true. Because, I mean, they've been going for over, because I mean Liz 10 was what, 50 years? She's been doing it 50
no,
years?
she was she said she was aged 50 years, but actually I think in the episode they made her out to be a lot older. Hang on.
Oh yeah, because they stopped her aging, didn't they?
200 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if they left around, I don't know, 150 years ago or something, then how on earth would the little girl know what a Scottish accent is? If Scotland went off by themselves.
Even if the Scottish people stayed with the British, well, no, not the British, the English, their accent would slowly go anyway, because being surrounded by the closest thing you'd get is the Yorkshire people, but even that would probably eventually blend away. Also, isn't it a little bit too small? Unless there's a massive culling of England, because like when you see the amount of windows like on it, and then you see that Amy and the Doctor look out that window at the end, they're pretty big, and that's one floor. So I mean, there's not really enough floors, in my opinion, to for the. So I mean, is there a culling which happened? I mean,
I guess because they had at the ending they kind of had bits where it kind of showed that a lot of people died. So I guess they just took who they could.
Yeah, I don't get that. Like,
though they must have slowly repopulated during that. So how is there still enough space?
I know they kill the least worth it. They don't kill.
Yeah.
They feed it. They go the people who aren't helpful. But I mean, how helpful can you be on a spaceship and floating about? I mean, they're not exactly looking for another planet. When we join them, they're out in the middle of nowhere. It's like okay. So you're looking for places, but you're nowhere near anything. Like, surely they'd have some information, or at least satellites. Because I mean, 29th century, that's the same as a satellite from the Ark in Space.
True.
That's the thing.
Where everyone abandons the Earth.
Yeah, that's the connection.
Yeah. Which also kind of connects to satellite vibe as well.
Yeah, exactly. So if they can have satellites like that, and be monitoring rocks, the Cyberman thing from Revenge of the Cybermen, then they surely would have enough technology to, at least know where planets are. And I mean, they must have some control over the Star Whale. I mean, the best bits about the set is the CGI are inside the Star Whale's mouth.
Yeah, even then, because that entire area is just very red, it's a bit difficult to appreciate what it is because of the red lighting. Actually, that's one thing that bothered me in general with the lighting, because a lot of it was just red. It's more distracting than it is artistic, really.
Yeah, there's only so much you can do, really. I mean, another thing I don't get is why give the people to vote against it? What is the actual point? Because, I mean, you make them forget anyway. They're forced to forget, so what's the point in voting in the first place if you're going to make them forget anyway?
Well, because it makes them seem like a
But it's
choice.
like making your own enemy.
It is very stupid. What is even the point of having a choice?
I'm still kind of very, very not sure on.
And if they're supposed to be serving the British people, and if they're supposed to be there to make sure they, continue on and continue to have a good life, why are they going and feeding them to the Star Whale anyway?
Because they state that it's the least worth it, the least helpful.
Yeah,
but
true,
surely they would have got rid of the least through genetics, because then if they get rid of all the stupid ones and all the bad ones, surely you'd be only left with the good stock. Yeah, so after 200 years, which Liz has been around for, then surely there wouldn't be any bad ones left. So I mean, I don't know. Then what do you do? The least clever? Because that's a bit unfair if they're still good. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. The hooded men, just kind of bland. Nothing to them.
They're literally because they just they're slightly sinister, and oh my goodness, they're smilers, and then we never see them again.
That was a decent twist that they were smilers, but because the smilers meant nothing. That was the most disappointing thing, I think. Out of all of it, I was so excited for the smilers. In the trailer, I was like, oh my god, look at that. That is creepy. They're going to be awesome. I can't wait. And I found out they're in the second episode. I was like, oh my god. They're going to be taking over the ship and something, and the Doctor's going to be fighting back. That would have been a better plot. They're taking over the ship. They're trying to kill the Star Whale. They still could have been the twist that there was an animal, there was the whale helping it along. Mm-hmm. It wasn't in safety, it was just helping them along.
Yeah.
But they were going to kill the Star Whale because the smilers, I know, malfunctioned. I mean, you don't really need a big thing behind it. They malfunction, or they've been told to help humanity, but now they all of a sudden see humanity of having no hope. So they're just deciding to take everybody out. that would have been way cooler with these Smilers, coming after them, kind of Terminator kind of style. I mean, it would have been better than
or
what it
something
was.
like that. I mean, I always think because the whole thing is very much tied to government conspiracies and all that. Perhaps this was like a secret government conspiracy that if something happens, then they're programmed to go and kill everyone.
Exactly, yeah. Say if they didn't find anywhere in 200 years, because then you could still have the twist of Liz 10 being that old, because they didn't want to bring in another monarchy or whatever. They could make up another reason, but it would make better sense. I guess it would just have been a cooler plot if and they could still have the Beast Below, because it still is the twist that there's an actual animal leading the ship, which then that could have been actually the way that the Smilers got kind of defeated. They didn't realize it wasn't machinery, it was an animal. So then they try and kill the animal, and so on. But yeah.
No, they really just sat there, and a couple of them got shot, I guess.
Also, a thing I don't get is, why does the computer have details of Amy? Because it goes, person Amy Pond. She lived in Scotland. Why would they have Scotland files? Why would they have files on Amy anyway? She's the 21st century. This is the 29th. Why would they save those files for so blooming long?
In case it was used for...
Wait, if it's 29th, why? Because it said, I swear they said her age was 1,000 or something. It would be way more than that. Maybe it was 10,000. I hope so. I know.
I don't remember.
Gotta go back and check that. Oh well. It's not on the thing. Oh well. It's not on Wikipedia. Damn it.
Well, I'm on the Doctor Who wiki, so I can just double check here.
But yeah, anyway, and Amy's just
1,306.
That's too small, isn't it? If it's the century that's saying that it is, if it's the 29th.
Hang on. Yeah, it's the 29th, and she's...
That's a mistake right there.
Yeah.
Oh no, wait. 1,000, 10, 100, 100. No, maybe it's right. Because she was born in 19. She was born in...
Okay. Yeah, then it is.
Okay, thank God they got that one right. Oops, by us. Okay,
Oopsie daisy, I'm moving on.
That's what Maths A level does for you guys. Absolutely nothing. Where's my calculator? But yeah, again, but my point still stands on, why would they have files on a dead person? What is the point? Waste of space.
Because they needed to justify using that 2 terabyte hard drive somehow.
Yeah, it annoyed me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, don't get it. But yeah, the Smiler's completely wasted. Absolutely great design, really creepy, great idea, and then throw it away like that. Just simple as 2 shots and they're down. Oh no, but they can fix themselves.
No.
I mean, it's basically, it's what it is now, is what I realised after watching it, is it's a discount Planet of the Ood with some Gull in the Fireplace.
Yeah.
Gull in the Fireplace for the spaceship and the Clockwork Droids, and the brain and the creature, Planet of the Ood. Because I mean, they're literally lasering that brain. It's just enough of brain. I bet you they use the same design actually. I bet you they use the exact same design.
Wouldn't be surprised.
Because, well, to be honest, saving money and all that, I guess. And, budget was hard for Series 5 compared to the Russell T Davies era, thanks to Timothy
Dalton, yes. He used to go that budget.
Though, to be honest, he was kind of worth it. But
he was. But
no. Still a lot to it. But, it's a really big drag to get through this story.
Yeah.
5 minutes. I was kind of half talking to Conrad at the same time. On Skype, because I knew it wasn't going to be a piece of cake getting through this one, and it was I was like, okay, look, 7 minutes in, that's gone okay, that went okay. The first 7 minutes are good. That's counting the title.
Ain't too bad though. Though when the Doctor and Amy start talking aboard the ship, that's when things, because the dialogue is just so
bland.
It feels it's bland and it doesn't feel natural at all.
It's all over the place. It's like, oh, you only help when children are crying. Yes, it's like.
Yes.
Have you watched every Doctor Who episode ever, Stephen Moffat? It's kind of like he usually wanders about.
Doctor, have you ever heard of this person? I think he's called the Doctor. You might have heard of him.
It's absolutely. Rubbish.
Weird.
It's just rubbish dialogue. It makes no sense. I mean,
And then, like, I think the worst in terms of dialogue is Liz 10 because they
Yes.
just tried to make her. She was.
Why does a badass have to be a chav? That's the one thing that gets me. Every time they've tried to like have a really cool badass cool character, why do they have to be chav?
It would have actually, because I know part of that was trying to shake the
If they
oh
ma-
my gosh,
yeah,
posh
yeah.
person stereotype being queen, but at the same time that would have, I think that actually would
would've
have made
been
things
cooler.
more
If she
interesting.
came in like, you know, a proper like actual like, you know, royal gown,
Yeah.
and then out of it she pulls like two, you know, revolvers,
Yeah.
like classic revolvers, not like space revolvers, like classic, like, and then bang, 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 and then she could have actually said, "This was my great, 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 great grandma's," and that could have been a reference to Tooth and Claw. Because she used that in that one, I think, doesn't she? She's because she had this little pistol, didn't she? This gold pistol which she shoots the monk with. That would have been cool, but like it should have been. She should have been way more posh, and then turn out to be a badass.
Yeah.
And like another thing, why does she wear the mask when she's in private with the doctor? Yes, she wears the mask so she doesn't get noticed around in public. That is a fair enough reason, and that is, you know, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But when she's with the doctor, what's the point?
Yeah.
What is the point?
Also, the whole glasses thing on the floor was so stupid.
I mean, visually, it looks nice.
Not really. It's just a bunch of glasses
But it makes
on the
no
floor.
sense.
It doesn't.
It's a
even
reminder every day that
It
our
was just a
subject...
bunch of glasses on the floor. It was nothing interesting.
What, short view or long view kind of glasses? But yeah, no. I don't get the chandelier. Like, where's that on the ground? Seal was in there, swinging from the chandelier. That's on.
Yeah.
But yeah, oh god. Visually, it's just trying to be a nice visual thing. But like, if they were going to do that with the glasses, they should have literally been covering the entire floor, not this one corner.
Or like a wall of it.
That would have been quite cool.
Just have them all stacked on top of each other.
Thing is though, yeah, engines should be making a vibration, blah blah blah. But would it really?
Yeah, future technology, you might get something a bit more stable.
Because yeah, they're obviously creating their own gravity as a walkabout. But surely they make a stabilizing so you don't feel this rumble all the time from these engines. So I mean, it's kind of, you know. But hey ho, Doctor Who, they've got to have some artistic license, you know, and make up sciencey stuff. So you know, we'll give them benefit.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll leave.
One thing though, why is she whispering? It was so annoying. I was like, shut up, speak normally.
Yeah.
It was like, why you're in a private area? If they were, what they should have done with that scene is had it in the middle of like the town, with loads of people around. It would have been cooler, would have made more sense, and she could have actually been a street performer. Everybody could have been watching, and she goes to talk to the doctor, and she's like, meet me here. And then the doctor goes, and she goes, what's wrong with this? And then the doctor then notices that, you know, that everything's not connected.
Something like that.
That would have been cooler. And then, you know, and then, like, then we should have, and, like, it should have, like, the mask should have properly covered and everything, like, covered hair or something. Like, you know, we couldn't have seen her. So then when we get introduced to Liz 10 later, we didn't know that masked woman was her.
Yeah.
That would have worked. If this had been given a 50-minute run, and it had gone with this plot, that, you know, the Queen is then noticing that something's going on, actually, yeah, the engine's being severed, that could have been the Smilers trying to destroy the ship, but then they realise that there must be a secondary source, hence why they could then go on Rampage. So first they were trying to be all subtle about it, and now they go on the Rampage, Liz 10 realises. That would have been a way better plot.
Something like
Well,
that.
I think that would have been more enjoyable than it's the last one of its kind, and it's your children.
Oh,
cry.
no.
I'm sorry, like, even after so many years of being tortured by these humans, I would pretty much go, screw you guys, and just go on. Because, I mean, they were torturing his brain directly. That must hurt.
Yeah. I thought one of the very stupidest parts of the episode was, they constantly were like, oh, we shouldn't be here. Oh, you shouldn't do that. Oh, I shouldn't tell him that. Why? Like, it's a constant thing. Like, when Amy presses the button and all that, she doesn't want to tell him for reasons.
Oh,
and then
that
the
was
doctor, and then the
stupid.
doctor watches the tentacle and says, "We shouldn't be here." And it's like, why? And then they go again later. We shouldn't be here.
He's
Well,
been in so many worse situations
he's
than
been
that.
in so many worse situations, and like, why wouldn't you want him to go ahead and try and help? I guess they said later, oh, because you'd have to make the possible choice between the Star World and the thing.
I was so annoyed when she took Liz's hand and pressed the button.
Hmm.
Because how, like, stupid. If it had backfired, she just killed everybody. She should have said to the Doctor, there should have been like this build-up scene of realization. The Doctor's like, and the Doctor should have done it, but I know it's supposed to be Amy proving herself as a companion. You don't need to do that in the first adventure episode. You know, it takes a while. You can't force it down the viewers' throats. You have to win them over.
And to be fair, the Doctor kind of scolds her for that.
Yeah.
A little bit later.
I mean, one good thing is I did like seeing Matt Smith as angry Doctor. I don't think we saw enough of that.
Yeah, but he's not angry there for really much bigger reason.
Well,
And the stupidest part of his anger was when he said, "Oh, suddenly you're going home straight after this."
Yeah, you're going home. That was like,
what?
Just because, like,
what?
You could be angry at the other humans. Yeah, you can't really blame Amy.
Yeah, just for not telling you. I mean, that's like, I mean, and they do kind of make the Doctor seem unreasonable, but that's just flat out of character.
And it's like in
the past, he really needed to do something pretty
traitorous, yeah.
Yeah, like Adam in like series 1, you know. That's why he got kicked off.
Spacey.
Yeah, but like Amy did nothing to that extent. The Doctor's suddenly angry, and it's like it's anger without purpose. It's anger without. And heck, even like in this episode, like you know, we discussed a lot of aspects, but like. Even the usually fantastic music I had issues with. Like,
there was nothing special, was there?
It wasn't just that. It's like when Amy opens the tent thing to see the tentacle for the first time. It plays a weird like.
Wasn't it a high
weird kind of baby note? No, it was kind of like. I think it was something kind of being played in the Glockenspiel or something. It's kind of like a weird baby kind of sound.
No, I remember that. See, I found it very unmemorable. The only thing which was memorable is kind of Amy's theme when she's kind of floating out the TARDIS. That was nice.
Yeah, but that's not specific to this episode.
That was it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see, it wasn't specific for the episode, and it's just lacking. Like, usually, if something's not there, it's like, but the directing, there was one part I liked when Amy, even though I don't like it, visually it looked nice, and that was when Amy was remembering it, and it was like all the images flashing in her eye. When she was kind of, it was like, see everything, and it was like showing all like the stuff in her eye. And that was really, I like that. I was like, oh, that's a nice shot, I guess. But then it was still a stupid thing to go and do without even discussing it first.
Mm.
She should have at least discussed it, and if the doctor went, it's too risky, and then she just goes sorry, and then she just then grabbed this. That would have been better instead of just going flat out. She's so inexperienced. Series 7 Amy could do that. Series 6 Amy could do that. But not first time flyer.
First adventure.
You don't give, a brand new pilot, an entire commercial flight to, take you to America with an aeroplane, do you? It's just too silly. Because, easily that whale could have just gone, screw you guys, you tortured me for so long. Bye. Yes. Also, how did one thing which I was like, oh, that was a really kind of sudden cut is so they get so the whale throws up. Oh yeah, how does the sonic screwdriver cause the star whale to throw up?
Sound vibrations.
But it's organic matter. It's like, and it's this tiny screwdriver, massive whale. It would more make it cough and throw up. I mean, it was just a bit too like. Oh, I need them to get out. Let's just wave the magic Deus Machina stick. So, and then they end up in a overflow pipe.
Yeah, there's no transition. Like, it doesn't come out the mouth. It's just there suddenly in this hallway.
It's like, and he just says, "Oh, it's an overflow pipe." Why would you have an overflow pipe for the star whale? You just let it float out in space. You wouldn't care, would you?
No. No, you wouldn't.
Oh, you're the first people it ever rejected.
Oh my, why does it children?
Oh yeah, because it doesn't eat children. See, when does it decide
you're
not a child
babies.
Anymore? Yeah, when does it decide it's not a child anymore? What happens if you're like 16? Are you a child? Are you not?
What if you're a man-child?
Oh my god. We can't tell
No.
And what do they feed the Starwell now? It stays with them naturally. What do they feed it? They still feed it people? Because that's still pretty bad. The Doctor should fix that.
Yeah.
Because that was their only food source. I know there was lots of organic matter. I mean, I did kind of enjoy it. That scene was quite cool, like, to film. Like, I guess, and it looks visually kind of nice. And it's like, it's a nice, at least different kind of, we got used to where all this factory base. Now we're in this cool kind of sludge pit, which I mean, is, yeah. It's okay, but yeah, I just say very, very, very bland dialogue.
Oh,
Absolutely all over the place. Amy's character is nowhere.
And Liz 10 is simultaneous. It's kind of
nothing to it. No substance. There's no substance.
Well, and she, yeah, I mean, her only personality trait is being kind of OP, just wandering around shooting things and being the queen and all that.
200 years old.
Yeah, well, that was done, like, I mean...
He kept trying to do this massive, oh, look at this twist, the Stephen Moffat way.
Yeah.
The Smilers, the people being Smilers, decent twist, but nothing, nothing went with it.
Well, they weren't much to begin with. And then there's also, like, Hawthorne, who wasn't even a character. He wasn't even a living character. He was just...
He was a dialogue adder.
Yeah,
he just stood there and added a line when they wanted someone else to talk.
By her authority.
Yeah, and then all the guessing games where you just don't give a straight answer. You have to go all ambiguous. Like, I saw her, and you're forcing the other person to go, who's her? Who is she? Yeah. It's that horrible dialogue which is so fake. You go, oh, I saw so and so today. You don't go all guessy on people, and if you do, you're a bad person. Don't do that. It's annoying.
Oh, yeah, this is one bit of dialogue at the end which kind of annoys me. Which when after the Doctor's being kind of shouted at Amy and told her that you would go home, and after he's just generally not been very much of a help with the entire story, she goes talks about how compares the Starwell to the Doctor and mentioning stuff like very kind, despite what literally just happened.
Yeah, it's just, even though it's a few hours, I'd be so upset if someone would turn around to me and going, you're going home. That's basically going, no, actually, you're rubbish. Go away.
Pretty much, yeah.
I think it would have been better if actually the Doctor had taken her home and then he changed his mind. But then, to be honest, they kind of got straight into the next story, and I do love the ending with Winston Churchill calling,
that was a good ending.
And then the shadow of the Dalek. That got me pumped.
Yeah, that was good.
That was one good thing this episode
but that
did.
doesn't really count for this episode.
It's part of it, so I'm counting it as part.
Though, actually, the ending before that, not the very end, that bit, but, just before that, it was a very anti-climax. They stopped everything, and then the Doctor and Amy just wandered back to the TARDIS. There's no goodbye to Liz 10 or anybody else.
Yeah,
see any progress. Nothing. They just walked away.
And to be fair, though, in the classics, they do that quite a lot. He just goes,
usually they say a goodbye or something.
Yeah, he usually gives a one-line kind of line and then walks off.
They literally just stood by a
window.
window.
Why did they chill around for so long? Yeah. Yeah. I guess, yeah. So let's just go on to the few good things. This is kind of now a kind of mini just the best things. So good pre-title sequence.
Yeah.
I'd say it was good, and it got you kind of ready for it.
Yeah, really the only two good points I put down.
Floating in space seems alright. It visually looks nice. And
actually, I
it's
just
done
remembered a bit about that. Was
why does she end up outside again?
Yeah, exactly. I was just trying to bring that up. There's
Doctor!
They brought her in, and then suddenly she's hanging onto the outside with the doors closed.
Yeah, it's if I was the Doctor, I'd take her home straight away after that. I'd go, you're stupid. Just chuck her out and then just go off again.
He just opens the door, sees her out there, then closes the doors again.
Yeah, and then just dematerialises, leaving her there. I just don't get that. How does she end back out there? I understand if they showed a small scene of her looking outwards, going, "Oh, what's that up there?" and then falling out because
something. She just clipped out the doors. It just glitched. The game glitched.
She glitches. Anyway, yeah. So it looks nice though, and decent music there. Matt Smith does give this his all though. He's charming at some points. He's got some quite okay lines. Not his best, but I mean, he's got some It's got like when he puts the glass on the ground.
Yeah.
What? I don't get it. When the Doctor does stuff like that, like takes stuff, they'd be like, "What the hell are you doing?" You know, they need to add those like realistic lines in, but they never do. Anyway, and it's like there's an escaped fish. Like I like those.
Yeah,
kind
and
of
there are some good lines, but I mean, like for a lot of them,
bland.
yeah,
Anyway.
he didn't get good lines, but
Concentrating on the good.
I just
On the good. Decent twist with the Smilers being the men, but then it goes to nothing. The Mask twist was okay, revealing that she was old, but I mean does
you kinda
nothing
see
for
that
the plot
coming.
really. But yeah, that's and the kind of the ending with Winston Churchill and the Dalek Shadow. That's kind of those are the only good things I can kind of really pull from it that actually made me enjoy the first 7 minutes, and then the end, and maybe Matt Smith getting angry a tiny bit because I was like, ooh, finally a bit more of a maybe we'll have a kind of a bit more of a grouchy Doctor, which. Sadly, we didn't get really with Matt Smith, but now we have with Peter Capaldi, which is brilliant.
True. Yeah,
He knocks out the part with the angry side now.
he does.
I'm loving it. Oh. Yeah. Happy meal. But yeah. So then, yeah, I guess any good to add on to that?
I guess the CGI was.
Yeah, it was
the ship on
alright.
the outside was kind of.
Oh
nice.
yeah, I actually quite like the Starwell, the kind of like changing colours, the change of colours in like the tail bit at the back. That was an okay design. Bit of a sucky name though. Starwell. It sounds a bit like a Star Trek or Star Wars kind of thing. Oh look, it's a star whale. Look out for the star whale. Ah!
Where would that fit into Star Wars?
I don't know, just be floating along. I know, like that like weird thing in episode 7 with the weird things which chase them.
Yeah.
I know, just something which tries. Oh, Starwell episode. Maybe it's 5, maybe it's 4. The worm thing which comes out and tries to eat them.
Oh yeah.
That could be a
But it's
star whale
yeah.
or star worm, and then they evolve into star whales. There you go. So yeah, let's go on to the bad.
That's
Bad. Along
Like-
this kind of the worst. We're going for the worst of the worst here. What were 3 things that angered you the most?
Okay.
Gotta choose the worst
Ooh.
3 things. The 3 things which just infuriated you the most completely.
Okay. So for me, the Doctor's out of character anger, because when he starts shouting at Amy and telling her to go home and stuff, that bit frustrated me.
How does that make you
I feel sad.
feel? Moffat, why'd you do this to us?
Why? Liz 10 in general, just
as
Liz
character,
10,
yeah.
just Liz 10. And I would. Oops, it's difficult to choose. There's just so many. I would.
Conrad's not very good at choosing, by the way, guys.
I'm not. I can admit that.
Trust me, we can spend like 10 minutes choosing which Doctor Who story to watch. I have to decide in the end.
And the underuse of the Smilers, the lost potential.
Yeah, no, I'd go definitely number 1 worst thing is the rubbishly usedness of the Smilers.
Useness.
So yeah, I know. I the words got stuck in my head. The underused and the really badly used Smilers, like oh my god, the designs. Like if you could take those out and add them in another story, I'd have loved that because such good designs. I love the color purple. I don't know. It just did something for me. We never really had a purple based villain, like color wise. I don't think. Jagrafas is kind of dark. I just really liked the cloak design and the really creepy red eyes. It was cool.
Yeah.
Cool. And I let down. Completely let down. Those were the things. That was probably the thing. But I remember it's the twist of the head in the trailer. There's the normal series top 5 trailer, and there's the one where they're falling through the vortex.
Yeah, I remember.
And then it was in
Cinematic
there too.
one.
I was like,
Yeah.
oh my god, okay, they're going to be really cool villains. That's why they're in this. And like, then I found out they were in episode 2, and I was like, oh my god. So I was really, really excited. This aired the day before my birthday. So this is 10th. My birthday's on the 11th. So that evening, I was all ready for the smiles. I was like, oh my god, this is like an early birthday present. Doctor Who's back, new Doctor, everything, 11th hour I enjoyed. So I was all ready for, Beast Spur, and then sour taste in my mouth. And that's why I think the Smilers is the worst thing. Not because they were just rubbish. It's because they had such potential and then just failed completely. Second, I'd go just other characters. Just in general, characters were everywhere. No consistency, except Liz 10, but then nothing special. No substance. She's just a chav, and she has guns, and
she's good at
royalty,
everything, seemingly.
And she can work stuff out, and she's old. I mean, it's just no emotion. No emotion except, something's happening to my people. It's like, why do you care? You saw no passion behind it. If we had seen her in the streets helping people out while she wore this mask like a superhero, that would have worked. It would have been more interesting. She had this kind of undercover thing going on. That would have made more sense. That she was then worried for her, subjects, because she was always on the streets helping them out. That would have worked. Third thing, I just say the story in general. I think they could have, changed it, but, more like Under Siege. Because Doctor Who, you look over to time, the best stories have always been more like an Under Siege kind of thing. That would have really worked with the Smilers. I think if you had like an army of 10 walking towards, immune to bullets, like always, every Doctor Who villain ever, which has been kind of decent, immune to bullets. Except Zygon. Zygons are great, but not immune to bullets. But and their clockwork, they could have connected it to a gun in the fireplace
in some way.
In some way, or just separate robots. Like robots are deaf. Robots are deaf. Just turn bad. Someone's fiddling with it. Maybe it could have been someone who fiddled with it 200 years ago. So that if the human race doesn't here at one point, maybe they could have done an entire thing with Scotland when they get back at England. That could have been a cool thing. That could have worked. But that's it. So for the nerdy side of things, there's a few things. Do you want to go with the one that you have?
Yes. I spotted out while I was watching the episode, but when they're looking at the tent, Amy and
the girl. What's her name?
Who cares? They're just staring. They're looking at the tent. Mandy. Just staring at the tent, considering whether or not to go in. There's a sign above, which is about Magpie's Electronics, which, if you know the series and you've been watching it for a little bit, you will know that is the electronics shop from the episode The Idiot's Lantern during the David Tennant's era.
David Tennant's first season, series 2. That's kind of an odd choice of a reference, but it's
I think it kind of works, just because you'd imagine if a company does survive that long, then
the cool thing was actually the TV screens when they're in that room.
Oh yeah,
they're actually Magpie TVs, which was I was like, cool, but why would you use surely they'd have plasma screens still, because they use less energy and they're more efficient. Hey ho, who cares about energy saving when you're alone in space?
Actually, how are they getting all that energy? Is it all solar powered?
I don't know. I guess so.
But they don't have any solar panels.
Well, they must have found enough away. There's they've done stuff in between in the classic era, which will explain one of those energy ones. Another thing. So yes.
Insert coin to continue.
Yeah. It's like Wallace and Gromit, the kind of machine.
Yeah.
That's it on the edge. Anyway, yeah, so the Doctor mentions solar flare at the very beginning, which is why the people were forced to leave, as you mentioned earlier, if you watch our extended podcast, because it's our mini one. And this one will be in our main one, but hey-ho, because we're splitting too.
Yeah.
This connects to the Fourth Doctor, his first season, where the Ark in Space, Sontaran Experiment, and Revenge of the Cybermen, because that's kind of the era. Revenge of the Cybermen is actually set before the solar flare, and then the solar flare happens, and then there's the Ark in Space, then Sontaran Experiment. So that's quite cool. This one was also filmed in the second block for this season. It was the 4th episode film, but the 3rd story. So they were already kind of quite deep into the series. So that's why I think Matt Smith looked quite comfortable, which makes sense. And then they filmed 11th Hour, I think the next story. So it was. I think it was right to let Matt Smith get into it a bit more.
Yeah.
because he hadn't watched the series, unlike David Tennant, so David Tennant knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
And they had to film the Christmas special first anyway, though he spent half of it in bed.
True.
Sleep acting. Anyway, yeah.
It's quite convincing.
Yeah, and the last nerdy thing is they kind of spent an entire day in the whale's mouth. I guess that's the kind of most interesting. There's not too many interesting things about this one. But, conclusion, Conrad.
Alright. So this story, out of, I think, any other I've watched, has made me the most annoyed, frustrated, and just outright
Disappointed?
hate it. Yeah, I'd say so.
Disappointed, yeah.
Upon watching it for the first time, I was quite disappointed. However, another note about it, which I will say, I had almost, like, minus a couple of points, almost entirely forgotten about this episode in its entirety, which...
I haven't watched it for 6 years, so that's
it's
a while
true
to get over it.
Well, true, but like for a lot of episodes which I come back and watch, like again, even from like, because I've been starting to rewatch series 2 now, and I started and I remember large chunks of it, like, just because I guess it just left a much bigger impact on me than this did. I just remember the few bits which aggravated me, and I think a less memorable episode is kind of one of the worst crimes if it doesn't leave a lasting impact in itself, like just in terms of being entertainment.
Yeah, there's nothing memorable.
Yeah, so there's nothing memorable, it's frustrating to watch, and there's barely any redeeming factors to it. That's why I'm giving it a 1
Out of 10.
out of 10. Yes.
Gotta specify that.
Yeah, true. It's just very little to redeem this episode. There is so very little to redeem it. It is my least favourite out of any episode.
What, all time? Or
Yeah.
even Warriors of the Deep?
I hate that one, but it's not as bad as
Maybe we'll
this.
do a top 10 worst.
Yeah.
Oh, really? You think Beast Below is worse than Warriors of the
Yes, I do.
Deep? Damn.
Because Warriors of the Deep is kind of funny, and it's kind of like...
It's
it
got
annoys
some
me in some
fun out of
aspects,
it.
but it's like...
There's still some enjoyable parts.
Yes, there is some redeeming aspects, and like, has nice costume designs, and, it has its moments, whether it be funny or, This just has nothing, pretty much nothing going for it.
Nothing enjoyable. Okay, so my conclusion is it's very much a chore to get through. First time watch is okay, but on second watches it becomes a pain and worse on every viewing. The characters are bland. The only redeeming character is the Doctor himself, but even then he's a bit off. Karen Gillan acts well, but the writing is so off for Amy that is unlikable in this story. Later on in season 6 and 7 she becomes much better, so I'm not hating on Amy. It's just in this story she's just totally off. Characters all over. And she just gets better with Rory, I think. She works way better when Rory's on the scene.
Yes.
The villains are wasted, if you can call the Smilers the villains, which was a huge disappointment, as I remember being super excited for them. And then it was before my birthday and I was just left with sour taste in my mouth. But luckily there was the bit at the end which got me excited for the Daleks. So I'm also giving The Beast Below 1 out of 10. And it was close to 0. I mean, I gave it 2 originally, which Conrad knows, and I just couldn't leave it there. It was just had to be a 1. It's such a chore to get through. The only redeeming thing which gives it a 1 is Matt Smith being incredibly enjoyable. That's probably the only thing which kind of pulls you through it, because it was a new Doctor, so you were still kind of watching all the traits. That's okay, and that's why on the first watch it's fine.
Yeah.
But on any repeat watches, it's a chore to get through. And the other thing, which was the Dalek ending, those are the only 2 redeeming features. Hence why a 1 out of 10 from the Eyes of Harmony.
Yeah.
Don't hate us our own opinion.
Yeah. Well, I will say is that if you want to watch Matt Smith, there are far better episodes to watch of him.
The only one, I'd say this is probably his worst story, or Journey to the Centre of the TARDIS.
I think this is worse.
Trust me, Journey's hard to get through as well.
Yeah, I mean it is, and I almost entirely forgotten about that one as well, but there was some variety in terms of what they were doing, kind of. I mean, we'll get to that when we get to that. But I do think this is still worse.
Anyway, thank you very much for listening to us, if you've made it this far. Or thank you for listening to our cut down review. This is Eyes of Harmony signing out. Please subscribe or listen and Follow
Or
us on
you
our-
can know if you want to,
It's up
It's
to you.
entirely up to you. You've got to be your own person. You've got to be your own individual. And you can't just listen to everything that we say.
You've been a bad boy, Timmy.
Dad,
You must walk home.
Dad, no!
But, oh my god. But anyway, yes. So, thank you very, very much for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Au
Goodbye.
revoir!